We are live. Is everybody here with us?
I think so.
Oh, well, then
I'm here.
Okay, well, I'm here.
Hello.
Well,
Bogle.
hello world. This is Eric Mishi. I'm the executive director of SAVE, and we are here today for the next hour or so to have a conversation with the folks who are the organizers of SAVE&RAID, which is an incredible event that's been going on for the past 3 years, and it'll be going on again in 2024. And rather than me tell you all about it, the folks that are here who have been a part of this and put it together, they're going to be the people that tell you all about it. So let's first start with introduction. So I'm going to let you guys decide who's going to go first, but please introduce yourselves, where you're from, how long you've been involved with the SAVE&RAID event, and anything else that you think folks might want to know about you.
Sure, I guess I'll start. Hi, I'm Maddie. I go by the name RDM Havoc online, and I am a variety and retro content creator on Twitch, and I also organize community events like SAVE&RAID, and there's a few others I do as well. Bogle?
I'm Bearded Bogle online. My name is Stijn. I'm from the Netherlands. I stream a variety of different things on Twitch as well. And I have been involved with SAVE&RAID since, I suppose, almost the beginning. It was definitely something that Maddie came up with, and then I joined fairly quickly into the sort of organizing process. Yeah.
Nice. You want to go, Ragrid?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Rad. Also, whatever you want to call me. Well, I've been doing SAVE&RAID since the very beginning. I think in 21, right? Because Bogle asked me if I wanted to join, and yeah,
2020,
I
think.
Was it 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, we've been doing this for 3 years, right? Was it 20? What was it? 21?
Maybe it was 21.
So,
Maybe you're right.
The first event was in 21, but we started working on it end of 2020.
Well, I wasn't on the team back then, but I did join for the entirety of the event, and I brought my wife with me, and then Bogle asked me if I wanted to help out with social media in the second year. So since 2020. Well, yeah, for 2 years now, I've been basically running the Twitter account, but I kind of created all the social media accounts that I could like a month or two ago. So, we have a bit of variety and spread.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, and I also stream on and off. So,
Nice.
Tomb Raider most of the time.
Yeah,
and speedrunning. Yeah.
Yes, true. Speed jogging.
I'm Ryan. I go by TechLink. I started last year with the website. So I built the website and did some integrations. And that helped jumpstart. Yeah, it made a big change. It was like the next level for SAVE&RAID. I live on the East Coast. So that's it. Yeah, this year will be another website rebuild, so we'll get to see some new features and enhancements.
So this really is when you talk about SAVE&RAID, this really is an international event, right? You got folks from all over the country who have helped put this event together. You got people playing from all over the country. So let's start with the most obvious question: what is SAVE&RAID?
So SAVE&RAID is a multi-streamer relay marathon with two goals in mind, is to help small to medium streamers build their communities together and to raise money for Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. It came from something I noticed on Twitch in the very beginning when I started streaming, was that there was a lot of like segregated communities that were just like, in their little pockets of Twitch. And there was kind of among a lot of the streamers that I was watching at the time, it was very like dog eat dog, highly competitive. Don't talk about your stream and my channel. And just, I didn't like the way that felt. And so I was thinking one day in the shower, as one does, about how to do something that included people together and, fostered the idea that we could all work together. And a good friend of mine who's also on the team, Seeky Wisdom, has said the words, rising tide raises all ships. So that was kind of the core of it.
So for folks who aren't familiar with streaming and gaming, so give a little bit of insight into that, because we've got folks, just like there's people from all over the world that put this event together. We've got folks on all of our social media platforms from all over the place. Some of whom are more knowledgeable about the online streaming platforms than others. So share a little bit more about what that is.
Bogle, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So we all stream on Twitch, but obviously streaming can happen on a variety of different platforms, big and small. Twitch is owned by Amazon, and it is, I think, safe to say that it's the biggest one. But you can stream on YouTube. Obviously, that's what we're doing right now. You can stream on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. But on Twitch, there's a very large community of people who stream, specifically playing video games themselves. So they talk to their community. They play a variety of different video games. Either they focus on one specific genre or game or whatever, or they do a variety of different things, like honestly most of us. And then a subset of that, I think, that is very important for Save and Raid are the people who consider themselves sort of retro streamers, or at least that have an interest in sort of the retro gaming community, meaning not just video games from now or from the past, let's say 5 to 10 years, but like from the 90s and the 80s, and bringing back into the conversation some of these older franchises, and just highlighting the history of video games, as it were. So what streaming entails in that regard is, you play the video game while engaging with your community, with your viewers on a variety of different topics, I guess, whatever kind of you want. And everybody has a different way of doing that. That's something that is very interesting about Save and Raid as well, where you can definitely see everybody bringing their own style of streaming to the event, because they have full control over their own sort of time slot within the event, and they can showcase how they stream. And it's definitely not something that everybody does the same thing. It's very varied, and that's, I think, one of the strengths of the event as well.
So one of the things that happens when you're streaming, kind of the idea, like the backbone of the entire event, is the mechanic of raiding. So the way that works on Twitch is when you're done with your stream, you can choose to raid another streamer, which means you take your entire audience to a friend of yours or somebody you've never met before. You just find somebody to raid and you go there. So it's a great way to passively promote yourself on Twitch by raiding other streamers and building rapport with them. Then maybe they'll raid you back, bring their community over. So that was what we incorporated for Save and Raid. Whereas we pick one video game or one series of video games, we play for an hour, then we take the save file of that video game and we pass it to the next streamer, and then all the people that were watching for that 1 hour will get raided into the next channel, where that streamer will pick up where you left off and continue playing the game. So it's a snowball of viewers that gets to watch a game or series of games get played by different people each hour in their own style, while they showcase, what Bogle said, what makes them special, what makes their channel so great.
So we're going to come back to the game element of this, and how you choose those games and which games and how people can view it, things like that. What I'd like to talk about a little bit is, how did you choose an organization like SAVE? When you were thinking about doing this, how did you settle on an organization whose core mission really is to talk about and educate people and raise awareness about suicide and suicide prevention, as well as support suicide loss survivors? Because it's a really tough subject, and particularly in a world where mental health challenges are significant amongst all of us. How'd you come about that decision?
So it was kind of a hard decision because there's a lot of charities out there, and working with charities is not a new thing to streaming or streaming on Twitch. And we looked at different options. The kind of the hard thing is with a lot of charities, they become like it's this versus this. Like you support this thing, you don't support the other thing. And we were looking for something that was universally a good cause. And we started looking at suicide prevention. And when we saw, honestly, like we had already decided to call it Save and Raid. And then we saw an organization called Save, and we're like, okay, let's look at this very seriously. I think Bogle, if you want to elaborate more on that, feel free.
Yeah, I think in the process of picking a charity, you actually came to me with the idea of something to do with suicide prevention. But I think it's very easy as a streamer to latch onto that, because if you exist online in any capacity, and especially if you have a community, however large or small it is, that you engage with, on more than just a surface level, mental health is a big topic, or can be a big topic, and I think it's definitely for a lot of the people involved in Save and Raid. Like I've talked about my own mental health struggles on stream. I've talked to others about theirs. So it's definitely not something to shy away from within this sort of Twitch streaming community necessarily. So it felt like a good fit. And of course, the naming Save and Raid Save, it fit. That's not like the whole reason why we picked Save, but it did give us a little, like Maddie said, it gave us a little bit like, maybe we should actually pay attention to this and then do a little bit of research. But to me, it was very much that link with mental health and being able to talk about it and making it an approachable subject within the streaming community. Because streaming for me, but for many people, whether or not they stream or they view, or even if they lurk, and that's a bit of an inside baseball type of term for streaming, but lurking in a sense is you watch streamers without necessarily engaging in their chat. So it's just something that you do without putting yourself out there. But that is something that a lot of people do, because engaging with other people is maybe not the easiest for them, or for whatever reason they feel like doing that. But you come into contact with a variety of different people. So making something like mental health a thing that you can talk about is a very valued. It's very useful for a streamer to be able to do that.
Yeah, because kind of for each streamer, they're the leader of a community, their community, or a larger community, and we're in a unique position to be there for people in a way that is safe for us, right? And I don't know. I think that's incredibly important.
So anybody else want to add to that in terms of your thoughts on that particular issue? Because I will tell you that one of the things that's extremely important, and particularly in a world in which young people are particularly impacted with mental health challenges today, is having the opportunity to connect with others, the opportunity to have online conversations and participate in this way is extraordinarily important. And I know that you guys put a lot of thought and time and effort into this process of picking the games and making sure that the subject matter and how you pick those games is consistent with safe messaging. So let's talk a little bit about how you choose these games, because I think that would be really helpful for people to understand that process.
That's a really interesting topic that we've had to put so much thought into. A lot of the way video game technology works now is, you save your game and it'll go into the cloud and you can download it later, your save file, or go to another device and also do it there. Like that kind of the ability for us to manually move a save file along from person to person becomes really compounded with newer games. Where it can be overwritten by the cloud if they're logged into the internet or whatever. So a lot of the games that we play are older. They come from, early 2000s, 90s, maybe older than that if, the game's appropriate. But this was also a time where games, TV shows, movies, they spoke so lightly and joked about suicide. This was the time of Kevorkian and just it's so different now. But so we have to be very careful about the games we choose that they don't have suicide references or it's an easy storytelling mechanic for a game to put a person that shot himself in a corner to show you, to relay how bad things are in the world and the story that you're have unfolding in front of you. So we kind of have to weigh that a lot. Is it something that we can skip over and not show, or is it something that we can use as a time for whichever streamer comes across that part to talk about suicide and why it's important and share resources?
Yeah, and I will say this is that so often society as a whole, and it doesn't really matter what part of the world you come from, right? Having those conversations about suicide are really tough, right? People continue to shy away from it. The stigma attached to suicide, while it's significantly less today than it was 10 or 20 years ago, is still there. It's still significant, as is just even talking about mental health, right? Having conversations about how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? Do you need to talk? Do you need to get some help? Those are still difficult conversations. And I would tell you that the work that you're doing, this platform that you're involved with, is extraordinary. And it's a tremendous gift, obviously, to the work that SAVE is doing, and helps us continue to be out there, have a conversation, have a dialogue, and do it in a way that's really unique and different and interesting. So speaking of games, what are the games that you're considering for next year's Save and Raid event?
So
Well, we want that.
Yeah, so for this year, we're currently running a community poll in our Discord, which I can see that there's a link to the website, and through the website you can get into the Discord, where basically our community of participating streamers, viewers, people who've been with us for a while now, get to decide between 3 game series. The 3 for this year are Diablo, which is a game created by Blizzard. I want to say 1998. Am I right in that?
97, 98, yeah.
97, 98, something like that. The Half-Life series, which is a very well-known first-person shooter series by Valve. And the Monkey Island series, which is a LucasArts sort of old-school point-and-click adventure series, which was a very popular genre in the 90s, especially in the late 80s. We decided on those 3 based on sort of almost an exit poll after the 2023 event, because I will say the way that we've determined the games each year has definitely changed dramatically over the years, because the event just starts to grow and more people get involved. I think the first year we didn't even have our own Discord. We were doing it on Maddie's Discord for his stream. And I think a couple of people decided on Doom, if I remember correctly. I think there was a vote.
Yeah, it was definitely out of necessity that we needed the easiest game to transfer save files just to see if the event would work at all. Yeah, for sure. That was definitely sort of a proof of concept year anyway. So didn't want to make it too hard on ourselves, I suppose. Year 2, I think the 2 of us decided between a couple of options, and then landed on Legend of Grimrock, also for its sort of retro appeal. And then last year we had a vote between two series. Fallout happened to win that one, beating out Monkey Island. But because Monkey Island got so many votes, it's back this year to try and take the crown, as it were. So yeah, I think at the end of last year's event, we asked participating streamers, like, hey, what types of games would you be interested in? Not necessarily creating a full list of these are the options, but more like, okay, are you interested in
that particular genre in this particular sort of theme, etc., etc. And in discussions with the full sort of organizing team, we came up with Diablo, Half-Life, and Monkey Island. Also, just because we're all big fans of those franchises. And then what we did was we started basically testing them, whether or not they work for the event. As Maddie says, we need to be able to share the save files. If that doesn't work, the game obviously wouldn't work for the event. But also in terms of theming and subject matter, we played through large parts of it to figure out, like, if there are particular subjects that are addressed, what's the tone, how much tact is involved, how 90s is it, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and maybe this is an opportunity to kind of talk about the marketing of this, the social media part of this thing. So obviously there's you currently, how many players are you looking to actually have sign up for next year's event? Is it 44, 45?
It's about 44 because we, if we had more, we would make the event a little bit longer. The first year we started with 22 people and we did it for 24 hours. And, we had a talk with the executive director of SAVE, which was then Dr. Dan Reidenberg. So that took up 1 hour. There was another hour in that one that was something special, but I can't remember what it was. So we usually... Go ahead.
Sorry, I think it was a talk show hour.
Oh, it was.
I think year one Between Two Beards was already a thing.
That's right. Yep.
No,
it wasn't. That
Wasn't?
actually was formed as a result of Save and Raid, of people looking to do a project together. They were in the second year.
Too long ago.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a few minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's usually about, like, we aim for 48 hours or 24 hours, and then we put a special programs in there. But if we had the entrance to go 50 hours, I think we'd probably do it. I don't think we would go for like a whole week. That would be exhausting.
I've got lots of coffee at the office.
Yeah.
Lots of coffee.
I gotta say, our team also grew over the years, right? Like in the first year, you two were basically handling on your own, and then I did social media the second year, and then the team had to grow because there was a lot to organize and to keep in mind and stuff. So
we also took shifts. Like we have like the daytime shift and the nighttime shift.
Because Google and I are basically from Europe, and then I think the rest of the team is from America, right? From the US.
Jay is Canadian, but from that time zone for sure.
Yeah,
because year one, I do remember year one. I stayed up for the full 24 hours.
And
because thankfully
it was just two of you, as you and
I mean, I will. To be fair, I could have gone to bed. I was too excited. Because
to be honest, that's the issue, right? Like during the event, it's always really exciting. Oh, I want to see the next stream. I want to see what they do and how their layout looks, and just chat and
for sure.
And that's another thing to bring up is the participants are all excited to be part of this, and they go out of their way to create these elaborate layouts for their stream, integrate all kinds of chat features and stuff like that. So it's exciting to see like what each streamer came up with when it's their turn to play. Yeah, for
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about making sure that we're coming up with some way to kind of highlight in a lot of these folks over the next several months, so that we can kind of give them an opportunity to showcase the what they've done in terms of their pages, and really give people a chance to get to know the folks that are out there doing this event, participating in it, and helping to contribute to this conversation.
Yeah. I think it's great that Save and Raid as an event can offer these streamers something besides, not that I don't think anybody feels like there needs to be something offered in exchange for their time. I think they all put it in gladly, and they're very excited, not just about the event, but also about the cause. But I think it's important from our end to be able to offer, exposure and a platform and an audience to streamers who, I mean, if I speak for myself, I do stream fairly regularly, but not to the amount of people that Save and Raid brings in. So that is something that Save and Raid can offer.
Yeah.
That's actually worth highlighting just a little bit, is that a lot of the small streamers that participate in Save and Raid, especially like in the first year, it was a lot more viewers than we had anticipated. We were expecting we were all small streamers, and we were expecting 20 people would ride along for the whole thing, but it ended up being 150, and a lot of the streamers that were participating had never had that many people in their chat before. So there wasn't we couldn't even prepare anybody for that because we weren't prepared.
Right.
And then each year it's grown from there, but it is, it's a huge amount of exposure. And, the beautiful thing is after the very first event, so many people literally became best friends. They started projects together. Many of us have met in person in real life, just having known each other through our streams and Discord conversations. Matter of fact, just this past weekend, I had an event at my house where Lady Game Guy, who does our scheduling, CQ Wisdom, who's one of our support roles, we're at my house. It was very cool.
So let's talk about people who aren't streamers, who aren't playing the game. For those of us who just want to watch this, who want to participate, who may want to donate, talk a little bit, kind of walk through. Assume that folks that are watching this, listening to this, may know nothing about how to get online to check this out. What's the easiest way for them to be able to do that?
There's a variety of ways. So the way that this event takes in donations goes through a platform called Tiltify, which we picked basically from the start. It means that we don't actually have to quote unquote touch any of the money. It doesn't go to us and then to Save. It just goes directly to Save through this platform. But we are able to not only keep track of the donations coming in, but also we keep track of the people donating. And there's a variety of different things that we can do for them because they're donating. Each participating streamer has a variety of different sort of donation incentives that they come up with, either for their stream or something physical that they can send people, and they do all sorts of wildly sort of original and creative things, which is great, just to give people an incentive to donate. There are also specific milestone rewards where certain things will happen either during the event or afterwards when we hit a particular donation total. So that is all tracked through Tiltify. There will be, during the event, there will be a donate button on our website. And there's also an overlay on everybody's stream, keeping track of the donations, but also making sure that you know where to find that Tiltify campaign page that is set up for the event. Of course, because the stream isn't on one channel, it's on separate channels because we keep raiding into new ones. It's often a little tricky to figure out, okay, where is Save and Raid happening at this point in time if you want to join in, because it doesn't take a break for at least the 48, 49 hours. It's always going on. But our website is very well set up for that, because it will keep a schedule in someone's personal time zone, and it will link to the current streamer that is live for the event. So basically, our website is the be-all, end-all, one-stop shop of basically everything you need, which has been extremely useful last year since we've had it. And at this point, I wouldn't know how to do this event without it.
Yeah, I just want to add that anyone who wants to support can also, share our posts on social media, which is also a huge help, because, reaches more people, and they will show up, and you'll be surprised how many people actually participate and have fun with us, even if they are completely new to streaming in general, or watching people game. Yeah, I hope to get to even more people this year with all the social media accounts.
Well, I have your website up currently on the StreamYard stream here, so people can go to that at saveandraid.org. We'll post, you have a Twitter account. We'll post some of those links here before we're done as well. So Save and Raid, the website, is going to be the place where for rookies and novices who've never done this before, they can go there, find out information.
It lists basically what the event is. It has information on the previous years, and during the event especially, it will contain everything you need to know to find out what the event is about and how you can join, participate. And I think Steph mentioned something very important, because of course, as you, Eric, have also said, it's not just about donating. Obviously, that is tremendously helpful, and that's why we have all these incentives and people going out of their way to make it an interesting thing to donate for. But just viewing, just being a part of the event is incredible. It's not just helpful for the event, making it grow, making sure that more people see it, but also is the whole point of the event, is to be a part of this conversation about suicide prevention, about mental health, and about being able to spread the word that SAVE is sort of championing. So it's not just about donating. I mean, from year one, I think we've said this, like, times can be tough for people, and I don't want anyone ever to feel like they can't participate just because they can't donate. Being part of the larger conversation that we're trying to have, and growing this event through just participating in it, monetarily or not, is the point, and is very, very good.
And every year, one of the biggest highlights of the event is the chat that we get to have with somebody at SAVE, at Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, and we get a lot of feedback about how important that is every year, because we get to talk about stats, we get to talk about how to talk to people. I was going to bring this up earlier in an earlier segment, but like, there is a lot of fear if you think somebody is thinking about suicide. How do you approach that? Are you liable if you're the one that makes it worse? And like, all these thoughts go through people's heads, which makes it adds to the stigma of it.
Yeah.
And that's the really nice thing about getting to talk to you guys, because we can learn for the first time. We'll remind everybody that talking is the best option. Things like only offering two solutions, like two places, two numbers they can call, not overloading them with choice. These are things that are just, if you know them, you can help.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly right. And as we've talked about, as the executive director of SAVE, I will tell you that, the most important thing that you all will do for us and do for the cause is give us that opportunity to have that conversation and have that dialogue, right? Part of the challenge is the statistics and the numbers can become overwhelming, right? Because there's a lot of statistics out there, right? In the United States, death by suicide is the 11th leading cause of death, right? And I could go on for hours about the stats and the statistics, and those are important, but behind every single one of those statistics is an actual person, right? And we've got to be able to have these conversations. We've got to be able to have a transparent conversation and let people know that talking about suicide does not lead to suicide. That we also need to understand that, there's nothing normal about suicide. That's not something that we should ever normalize. But the other thing we can never normalize is not talking about it. And that is a big piece of the work that we are trying to do with SAVE. It's a big piece of the opportunity that I think your platform is going to give to a lot of people, to have that honest, open, candid conversation, and give us a chance to share information to people during February 24th and 25th, when this event is going on, who may be looking for help, who may need help. and are looking for places to go. So, I tell people I will always take their money. Money's great, but the opportunity to talk about this and have that platform is so much more impactful than any money that's going to get raised here. So, I want to talk a little bit about the games or the last 3 years. Are there things that have stuck out to each of you? Are there things that have been somebody who's played in this event, somebody who's participated, maybe a story that you can share that somebody's reached out to you and said, hey, this made a difference in my life. This gave me the opportunity to share information, the impact of what you're doing. Anything that you want to share that you've experienced?
Sure. I've had a couple, but I'm just going to share one that happened more recently. I mean, I've gotten, PMs, explaining how important it was. But recently I was actually invited into a Discord moderation channel where there was a user that was going through a tough time and they weren't sure how to handle it. And it was nice to be able to come in and, basically tell them what I knew, where to find help, only offer the two choices like we were just talking about. Supplying links to your guys' website has a wonderful little section that is, how to find help if I'm thinking about suicide, how to find help if, I know somebody that's thinking of suicide. And it was just, the whole situation was really bad, but it was very reassuring feeling that I knew where to get that information from and how best to provide that to the people that were asking for it.
Yeah.
I can add that I know someone that basically comes from my community because I met them in real life and then they became part of my community and they've been part of Save and Raid for many years now. And they are super excited about Save and Raid every year. I think they say it's like Christmas, right, Vogel?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So because everyone gets excited together. They get to play a game. We all get to play together. We have a lot of people that know each other, that look at milestones and whatever money we can get together with little incentives and stuff. And we put silly things like, okay, let's play a game together. Or I will play for 12 hours or something, a game that you pick for me. And it's just it's beautiful. And since I think a lot of people also during the COVID phase didn't get to see a lot of people. It was especially important to form those communities on the internet, online, to have someone to talk to or to listen to. And I think we really helped because a lot of people, come to us and they're super excited and they're like, okay, everyone struggles with mental health at some point in their life. So it's an important conversation to have. And if you have a group of people that you can talk about with it and, get together with to remind people that, everyone can go through a tough time. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And go ahead, Bogo.
Well, the pandemic being simultaneously sort of part of the reason why I'm here and why Save and Raid is even a thing. And then also something that was so incredibly useful for people during that time that's kind of amazing to think about. For me, for a sort of a side project recently, I collected some feedback on Save and Raid from viewers, from participants. And one thing stood out to me because it was a very candid message that was sent to me and very personal. I'm trying to word this in a way that is respectful also to the fact that they sent that to me, but maybe they don't necessarily want that, out into the world. But it is something. It is something special to read that something that you work on has inspired someone to look for help, and in this case, their words being checking themselves into a mental health facility. because they felt the need for that, and Save and Raid specifically emboldening them to make that step that's not something that any of us take lightly. I think that is it's a huge privilege to be able to do that. It's a huge responsibility to do it well. But I also think that our sort of collaboration and relationship with Save allows us to do that well. Something we haven't talked about this year yet, but we will, is something that we've done in the past 2 years, which is Save has a sort of training module. I think it's like a 35-minute training module on how to engage with someone who's thinking about suicide. And for the past 2 years, we've offered that training, or Save has graciously offered that training to participating streamers in Save and Raid for free, helping them not just throughout the event, but just in their sort of streaming activities as well. And I think that's a sign of how serious we take that responsibility and that privilege that we get to sort of affect people's lives in that way. But that was very nice. I mean, obviously that was very nice to read, and it was inspirational.
The feedback from those trainings was very positive as well.
Yes.
So it helped a lot. Yeah. And it probably answered a lot of questions that people had, like, what do I do if somebody brings this topic up? And yeah, that's something that we kind of struggle with, especially if you're live on the internet, right? On the spot. Yeah. You don't have time to type up an answer or anything like that. Yeah. Or think about it. So yeah, very, very good information.
Absolutely. Because you're the one in front of the camera, right? There's a variety of people behind their computer taking the time to type, but you're actually talking, and often in front of a camera, but definitely, on the spot. And I think it's helped people take that step to participate in Save and Raid as well, without having to be afraid of, like, okay, but what if I'm participating in this and there's 150 people looking at me, or 200 people looking at me, and someone asks a question about this, and what do I do? That can be, I mean, even for me, who's been a part of this since the beginning, that's kind of terrifying. And the fact that we're able to offer that, and the fact that Save is helping us offer that is can lower that threshold for people to be able to join, which is very useful as well.
Yeah, I also want to put an exclamation mark on how important that training's been. We actually we offer like a gold role inside the Discord for people that have verified with us that they've taken it, so they get a little bit of recognition for.
They get a gold sticker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, our goal should be to make sure we get lots of gold stickers out there. So we will make sure that we make that available. We're working on our end with some folks that I think that we're going to want to add to that conversation during the Save and Raid event, that I think will be really helpful and powerful as well. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the things, kind of the key dates right now. So right now you're in the midst of voting on these 3 games. So how can people get involved in that right now, and when is the deadline for that vote?
Oh, you got
Shall I talk about that? I think the easiest way, that's sort of the start of every answer to any of these questions, is go to saveandraid.org, because that will have the link to our Discord, which is a Discord server in which we basically share the entire planning process and involve as many people as want to be involved in sort of the planning process for the event. Obviously, there's a select group of people who put a lot of time in to organize this event. That's the organizational team that we're a part of, but it's incredibly useful to have this dedicated group of people who care about Save and Raid, who can answer our questions, who can be sort of a sounding board for some of the decisions, including the decision, like, what game are we going to play? So in the Discord, there is a voting channel, and there is a poll currently going to decide which game. So you can still join the Discord and vote for that. That will go until November 15, I think. I don't know if we necessarily set a time for that. but let's
When we
just say
wake up.
November 15th. Yeah,
so
basically.
sometime November 15th is your, so you've got
Yeah.
it till November 15th, the end of the day, whatever, on November 15th.
Could
And so,
Basically.
go ahead.
someone actually tell me where the vote's at right now?
Sure, I was
Thinking-
actually,
I don't
I
have
was
my
actually,
Discord open.
yeah, I was looking that up just now. Right now, the Half-Life series is in the lead with 25 votes. Diablo, Diablo has 14, and so does Monkey Island.
Wow, Half-Life, really?
Which is
Yeah,
which is cool, but it's also, I mean, we still have a week, more than a week. We're not even at the halfway point. Looking at the amount of people in the Discord, there's definitely some people who haven't voted yet. And looking at remembering the vote from last year, it can still go anywhere, really.
That's what I
Yeah.
was going to say. Didn't last year's vote like swing? It went from like a low number all the way to winning very
Yes.
quickly. So yeah,
Yep.
it could change
Yeah.
drastically in the next week.
The Half-Life has a lead, but it's not a demanding, like it's not a commanding lead, and anything can happen, which is exciting, which is why I want more people to vote, because
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
this
think-
isn't ranked choice voting though, right? It's whoever gets the most vote wins, correct?
correct.
All right.
Whoever wins
Yeah,
the
and
most
we're-
votes wins. Okay.
and we're taking the one that's the second highest votes from this year, and we'll have that in the vote again next year.
Okay. All right. So I put the votes up so everybody can see those right now, kind of where everybody's at. So if folks are watching this and you have an opinion on which of these games you want to vote on, there's your vote right there. So
Yeah, so go to SAVE&RAID.org, click on the Discord link. You'll be added to the Discord. There's no process. You're just there, and then you can vote for the thing. And that will run until November 15. And then the next step is signups, I guess, or applications.
Yeah.
and when does that start? When does that start?
We had it.
December
I can't remember.
We haven't really decided on an actual date. Right after the vote ends, we have a big organizational team meeting where we
Exactly,
will
yeah.
decide the exact date. But let's say beginning of December, for a couple of weeks, people will through the website, again, saveandraid.org, will be able to fill in a form applying to be a participating streamer.
I think historically it's been December 15th, so I would imagine it'll be somewhere in that.
Yeah,
neighborhood
that
again.
actually
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we need some time to, train these people and tell them how to handle their games and their stream and, talking about suicide with us. So
Good.
it's yeah.
That's something that not surprised me, but definitely made me very happy about our community last year, is that we have definitely, in the course of the couple of years that we've been doing this, we've asked more and more commitment from participating streamers, and they've basically, without fail, stepped up and basically told us, yes, we want to be involved in this, and we are willing to put in that commitment. So we have a big meeting somewhere in January with all the participating streamers where we explain sort of code of conduct and some stuff about the games, and so that everybody is aware of the process and everybody is excited, not about just the streaming part, but also the money raising part and the messaging that we're trying to put out.
So let's talk a little bit about the logo. So when is the new logo coming out?
As soon as we decide on the game.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right
Well,
now
I'm gonna-
we have. Right now we have a work in progress of the 3 different logos, and they're all done by Yoshimitsu, a good friend who's done the logos, all of our logos ever since the very first event. So the one that's showing in the corner up here, that is our all year long logo, but during the events there will be a special Save and Raid logo. That'll be based on images or visuals or themes from the game that we're going to be playing.
Okay. And then at a later date, we'll announce some cool things that may or may not go on with that logo for next year's game. So,
one of the things that the logo is very important for, besides hyping up the game and giving the event a specific identity, is also merchandise, because there will be T-shirts and other other merch basically with that logo, the proceeds of which will fully go into the campaign for Save. And I mean, I'm currently not wearing any, but there's a bunch of stuff upstairs that still gets worn regularly.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
know
there
I know
must
a
be-
lot of people are very excited about their Save hoodies. Exactly, that one. That
There
one's
you
from
go.
last
I
year.
was
How's
just
it
gonna say,
home?
There we go.
There
Yeah.
you go. There you go.
So,
I was
Love
wondering.
that
I
one.
was hoping you would all be wearing your swag today.
and this is
I was gonna put one on, and then I was like, but wait, what if we're all wearing the same one? And I just decided to wear a different shirt. And
This
and
is
I
a
think
weird
everybody else
uniform.
probably did the same.
Yeah, and
Well,
it
I-
now
I
means that our
usually-
chum and I are wearing our own merch.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, if I had been home, I would have, been wearing the Save hoodie because it's so comfy, and
Yeah.
we have two at home. So for every meeting, I basically just put on the hoodie, and I'm comfy in front of my PC. But yeah, since I'm at a Halloween party, and not even at home right now, I'm in a different city.
So you're at a Halloween party. So everybody knew what you were though when you came on, right?
Well, it's I mean, I'm from Germany, and it really depends on when people are born and if they know about Tim Burton movies, right? So
So in Germany, if you say it 3 times, how do you say it?
I think we just say the same thing. I've never seen the movie in German, actually. Yeah, I mean, my wife is from America, so I basically just speak 80% of my time English anyway.
All right. Well, I'm going to look for the German version of Beetlejuice. So
It's probably just the same.
Something Betelgeuse.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's probably just a word that doesn't exist in German, so the Germans all just say Beetlejuice.
Yeah, probably.
they probably do. Well,
Yeah.
so we've got about 5 minutes left, and so what I want to check on is kind of see if there's anything that we've missed that you all want to make sure we talk about. Our goal here, and Maddie, when you and I and Bogle kind of got together, we talked about what can SAVE do to help kind of continue to help promote this event and try to get more people involved in this. And it's a tremendous privilege for us to try to continue to work on that and find ways that we can lend kind of a megaphone to this, if you will. But what else do we want to talk about? What else do you want people to know about as this game kind of starts getting closer to reality? And how can they share this information to their community? What's other important information you want people to know?
That's a very good question. Well, I said I would start each answer with this, so I'm going to start this one too. SAVE&RAID.org is the biggest resource we have, the biggest sort of billboard we have to basically talk about anything that we do. So the entire process as well will be sort of highlighted there through news posts and through sort of pages and variety of things. As we go through this planning process, as we figure out the game, merchandise gets created, which you can buy through links on the website, supporting the campaign. As people sign up to be participating streamers, the two things that are very interesting that are being added to the site as that goes along are all these different donation incentives and milestones. So keeping track of, if you have a streamer that's participating that you like, keeping track of what they're promising to do for you if you donate is obviously something that's very relevant. If you don't know any streamer, just having a look at who is participating. Maybe you'll find someone that clicks with you or talks about something that you also care about, and maybe that creates sort of a viewership there. We'll just have to see. In terms of sharing it with your community, talking about it, and if you know a streamer, or if you are a streamer and you have never participated, and you before today or before the event you'd never heard of SAVE&RAID, sign up. Tell them to sign up. Try to talk to us if you want more information. We're always available. Like if there's anything missing on the site or the Discord, or you just want to have a conversation about this to see if you're a good fit. we're always available to talk in multiple time zones. So that's very useful. And yeah, just make sure that people know about this, because it's a joy to work on, but it's yeah, it's an even bigger joy to see it grow.
I would just like to say that if you've never heard about Twitch, or if you're not super into video games, just be open, because there is a huge community online, or, you know, a lot of people. We live in a very globalized world nowadays. Time changes. So just, you know, give it a try, check it out, see what people are doing. In my opinion, there's a streamer for every single one, because a lot of people have different ways of doing their streams. So yeah, if you see one and you think, wow, that's really cool, you know, hang on, keep watching, and yeah, just hang out with the community and discover new things, to be honest.
Yeah, they're all great people.
Yeah.
I want to add just a little bit to what Radgert said. You know, watching a stream on Twitch, it's almost never about the video game. Like, there are streams where it's about the video game, but it is about the person, the community, you know, be friendship with the streamer, but even the other viewers, just being a part of something. Like, I have found more and more that I don't care what the game is, you know, unless it's a new game and I don't want spoilers, but I'm just there because that's where my community is, my friends are, that's the streamer that I like to watch. So, you know, you don't have to get on Twitch being like, well, I guess I need to like video games. It's just about being a part of a community.
Yeah.
Or the community as a whole.
Yeah, and I also think, I mean, I've had the wildest conversations on Twitch, on my own streams, on other people's streams. It's often not about the game. And also, one of the things that I absolutely love is when I'm streaming and two people or multiple people in chat are talking to each other and not necessarily me, because it makes me feel like I'm sort of facilitating this conversation, even though I'm not necessarily a part of it.
I've rented out my house to these two people, and now they're having a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna share a couple of Twitch links here for people that want to check them out.
Very kind. That is very kind.
So
the one thing that I will say about video games, and especially what Radgert also mentioned about not, you know, maybe not gaming yourself or being on Twitch too much. I think one of the things that is sort of a side effect of this event is it can show people that, you know, video games can have a stigma on its own. And people who play video games and Twitch streamers, there are a variety of different Twitch streamers who are maybe not the best ambassadors for the hobby. Yeah, for the platform, that nonetheless get a lot of news coverage because of the dumb things they say or do.
Yeah.
And I think Save and Raid is a great example of what video games can do in a positive sense, the positive influence they can have on people, the effect that they can have with people getting together because of them and doing great things. I feel often very inspired in my work for Save and Raid by a longer running charity called Desert Bus for Hope, which raises money for Child's Play, which in itself is a charity created by gamers specifically to show that, you know, video games aren't necessarily the boogeyman that is destroying our youth, as it were, but can be an immense force for good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds funny to say to us for sure, but there are definitely people who say that and who believe it.
Yeah, us who think it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, and maybe that's kind of a place where we can wrap this up is, you know, whether it's social media platforms, Facebook, whatever those may be, whether it's games, a lot of this has to do with kind of responsible ownership and responsible presentation and information and how you use these things, right? I think, you know, there's a big debate going on today across the world, really, about the impact of social media platforms and and algorithms and things like that. And I think for those of you who are involved in this event and folks that are going to be involved with this event, making sure that we share with people that words matter, how you present information matters, how you talk to people matters, the fact that you care about people matters, right? And so what I want to do is kind of end this by saying, if people have questions, if they want to learn more about what's going on with Save and Raid, the website, what I'm hearing from all of you is like Beetlejuice.
No, you've summoned him.
we want to say saveandraid.org, saveandraid.org, saveandraid.org.
Yes.
So now that I've said that 3 times, it's all going to come to life. So
Exactly.
on behalf of all of us at SAVE, the board of directors, the staff, people that you are helping literally save lives, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here with us today, having this conversation. Let's plan on doing another one here, obviously, before next year's event. But if you need to learn more information, please go to saveandraid.org and take an opportunity to learn more about this event. And all of you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to
This
be
has
here.
been great.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.